So I'd like to just mention, if you would check the back of your tickets if you bought a ticket this evening. If you have one that has some writing, I'm not going to say what it is because then you'll all go home and write it on the back of it. If you have writing on the back of your ticket, that entitles you to 2 tickets to the next show. Did anybody get it? Back there? Awesome. Congratulations. So just hang on to that ticket stub and bring it to the window at the next show on April 13th, and you'll get 2 tickets in. All right, thank you. And now, once again, I invite you to envision yourself around the console radio, waiting for the conclusion of Suicide for a Kiss to begin.
Join us now for the final episode of Suicide for a Kiss.
Call your next witness, prosecutor.
I call Detective Joe Wilcox to the stand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but?
Nothing but.
Joe, you've been on this case from the beginning. Can you tell us what you found?
Well, I found that some things just don't stack, while other things make a pile a mile high.
Elaborate.
Raymond Kadel is here being tried for the murder of his wife, Ruth Kadel. Ruth was 20 years old when she died. They married when she was 18 and he was 26. He married her right out of the Lutheran Children's Home in Springfield, where she was an inmate. But this wasn't his first marriage. While he was showing his affections to 17-year-old Ruth Probst, he was still married to Dorothy Pendleton Kadel. In fact, the superintendent of the home filed a complaint against him because of it. Dorothy was also 18 when Raymond married her. He was 24. But even that wasn't his first marriage. His first marriage was in Mobile, Alabama, to Bessie Mae Armstrong in 1918. Just after he returned from the Great War. He was 21. She was 17. They had a daughter almost right away. And almost right away, Raymond returned to Europe with the occupying force. Bessie Mae divorced him, and since that time has represented herself as a widow. We contacted her for the trial, and she wanted nothing to do with it. So Ruth Kadel was Raymond's third wife. Mr. Kadel also had been called before the juvenile court over the matter at the children's home. And Mr. Kadel has admitted to having trouble with his wife.
Given your considerable experience as a detective and your knowledge of the facts of this case, do you find the defendant's explanations coherent, plausible, or even believable?
Frankly, no.
Objection, Your Honor. Belief or disbelief of the facts of this case rests with the jury alone.
Sustained. Prosecutor, that was a very rookie mistake. Let's not make that again.
Yes, sir. Nothing further. Counsel, your witness.
Dayton Detective Joe Wilcox, lead investigator on the Nesbitt case. Looking to regain a little glory, are we? That was quite the investigation on that one. Too bad Ora Slater got the break, cracked the case, got the glory, isn't it?
Counsel, don't waste this court's time badgering the witness.
Won't happen again, Your Honor. Now, Joe, please inform the court how much you made on the Nesbitt investigation.
What does that have to do with anything?
Your Honor, counsel knows Mr. Wilcox's income on the Nesbitt case. It's a matter of public record.
Indeed I do. More than $3,000 for 3 months' work. Being a professional detective sure is lucrative.
I've heard lawyering can be. What of it?
It seems the money involved might lead one to find the facts to fit the case.
I go where the evidence leads me.
Do you now? Well, what evidence have you that a crime has been committed?
There's plenty of circumstantial evidence. In fact, a preponderance of it.
Okay, so produce a murder weapon. What? No answer?
You have the coroner's report on the cause of death.
I do. Here. Let me read it for you. Quote, I can only come to the conclusion, and I do hereby find that the injuries in the death of Ruth Kadel were inflicted in an unknown manner. Unquote.
Your Honor, counsel is baiting the witness.
Counsel, I've warned you about delaying this trial with useless questions. This case must be conducted with propriety.
Mea culpa, Your Honor. Detective Wilcox, you mentioned Mr. Kadel's visit to the juvenile court in Springfield. Tell me, have you ever visited a court? As the accused, say, in Dayton?
Yes, I have.
And were an arrest and conviction in order?
It was a minor crime.
Objection. The witness is not on trial here.
Just a matter of pots and kettles. I withdraw the question. Nothing further.
I didn't like defense counsel Haynes before. I liked him even less now. It was obvious to me why he was headhunting. He went after both Coroner Bauer and me, hammer and tongs. He couldn't have the jury believing us, the two witnesses most convinced of his client's guilt. Oh, he was a clever one, that William Haynes. He knew the defense attorney's most effective weapons were confusion and inconsistency. He'd been heard to say, a damn good lie, damn well told, and damn well stuck to is damn near as good as the truth. Lying is a transactional game. What do I stand to gain? What do I stand to lose? Lying conceals. It doesn't reveal. Raymond Kadel had been lying from the beginning. He insists the witnesses at the restaurant have it wrong, that he didn't say those things, that their recollection of the time was wrong. But their stories haven't changed, and his has. Or at least it did until Bill Haynes took the reins. Yes, he was a clever one.
Mr. Harvey, next witness.
The state calls Lita Yount.
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
But, Your Honor.
Stow it, Bill. The witness is allowed.
Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but?
I do.
Miss Yount, will you tell the court the nature of your relationship with Raymond Kadel?
Well, we were, might I say, intimate?
You were intimate?
Yes, sir.
The intimacy, was it a one-time thing?
Sir, a girl doesn't tell.
She does if she's under oath.
Twice, sir.
Only twice.
Yes.
Would one of those times have been November 27th?
No, sir. November 13th and October 6th.
You've got a pretty good memory, young lady.
I've got a diary.
Did you know you had improper relations with a married man?
I didn't know he was married.
For the record, Miss Yount, how long have you known Raymond Kadel?
12 years.
Your witness.
Nothing further.
Bill Haynes called Raymond Kadel to the stand. Under his counsel's guide, Kadel told of his 2 years' service in the Great War and subsequent re-enlistment after his discharge to serve in the Army of the Occupation in Germany. He told of his first 2 marriages and both divorces. He then gave a detailed account of the night in question. The notable facts surfaced during cross-examination.
So you admit the statements you made to the officers were untrue?
A number of them.
A number? But you maintain your sister, brother-in-law, and niece are all wrong about what you said when you came to their house.
They must be wrong. I did not say those things.
When you told your counsel in direct testimony that Ruth had made previous threats to take her life, that was the first time I'd heard that.
That was the first time I said it.
So now you admit the quarrel in the car started over where you had been. Is there anything you would like to add?
The quarrel wasn't so much about where I had been, but more about Ruth accusing me of being with other women.
Howard Allen maintains you 3 were looking for women. Is that true?
We were.
How about Lita Yount? Were you with her?
Not that night, but yes, we have been together.
Your story has changed a lot since all this happened. Why did you lie?
I told the first story because I didn't want the families to know that she deliberately jumped out of the machine.
Yet Deputy Charles Green testified in court. You said you told your first story to hide the fact that you had been drinking from your mother.
I don't know. I don't remember.
You don't remember many things you said, but you do remember what you didn't say, like the conversation at the restaurant.
They have it wrong.
Their stories haven't changed. Yours has. You may step down.
Closing arguments, gentlemen.
Your decision means all to my client. For his sake alone, consider the evidence carefully and impartially in arriving at your verdict. I say Ruth jumped from the car, and as her left foot hit the ground, she was whirled by the motion of the car and thrown backwards on her head, falling on the left side to produce the bruises described. The door swinging shut struck her on the cheek, and her right ankle was caught by the door to produce the injury found there. This is my theory. Let the prosecution present a better one, if they can.
We have reviewed the case thoroughly in this courtroom and defined this circumstantial evidence. You, the jury, have been made aware of requirements for second-degree murder and manslaughter. Bear in mind Raymond Kadel's drinking and quarrelsome nature that night. Think about the timeline discrepancies. Kadel was at the Doghouse restaurant at 12:30, not 1:30, as he said. All the witnesses there agree. That would mean he was washing Ruth's blood off almost as soon as he left the sister's house. That means she lay in the car, unconscious and bleeding, while he sipped a cup of coffee. And this was before he tried to take her to the hospitals. All his actions were those of a guilty man. The lies, the cover-up, the ever-changing story, referring to as a woman, not wife, and everything thereafter was a lie. The defense would posit that Mrs. Kadel would commit suicide for a kiss is absurd. Who is going to kill themselves for a kiss? He didn't love her, and he was pursuing improper relations with other women. That is motive enough for murder.
3 things remain for the state to prove. 4 things are still left wanting. The state did not prove the location of the crime. The state did not prove Mrs. Kadel was murdered. The state did not prove Raymond Kadel committed the crime. And lastly, the state never produced a murder weapon.
For the first time in a murder trial in Miami County, a woman was elected foreman of the jury. This honor was given to Mrs. Allie Kopic of Tippecanoe City.
We, the jury in this case, find the defendant Raymond Kadel not guilty in the manner and form as he stands charged in the indictment, but find him guilty of manslaughter. Allie Kopic, foreman.
The verdict is a righteous one, and the jury evidently did not believe your story of the manner in which your wife lost her life. The court further states that the general opinion is that you have not yet told the truth of the affair. You are sentenced to from 2 to 20 years in the penitentiary. Case closed.
It's now up to you, the listeners, to decide. Did Raymond get away with murder, or was it suicide for a kiss?
Thank you, Rob Thimmes. That was a great playwright. He had 5 episodes and had 5 episodes to the drama series. And we appreciate all his hard work and all the readers for the script. It was, it's been interesting to watch this evolve. Strangers meeting in just moments, reading parts, and pretty soon they become friends. So it's been a good time.